Okay, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon for a couple of you over the pond, and welcome to Rapid Implementation 37. And we are on week 3, which is testimonials. But before we get on to the testimonials, does anybody have any wins for the week that they would like to share with us? A win is not necessarily a contract close, just something that you've achieved, maybe something for the first time. Tom, you got one, even though you masquerading as Cora this week, according to the name on here. You're muted, Tom. Let's see if we can unmute you. I can't. Debbie can.
Sorry about that. I was switching audio. Who do I need to unmute?
Tom. Well, actually, it's Cora. Oh. Well, it's Tom, but he's under the name of Cora.
Okay, where is he? Where is he? Gosh. Okay, I see you. Hey, Tom, you don't look like Cora, Tom.
She's on her way. She'll be here in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that.
There you go.
There we go. We got her in now. So this week we finally put together our first newsletter campaign going out since we attended the Rapid Implementation. We selected out 500 names we're going to be mailing out. Along with that, we have an invitation to a lunch and learn for cybersecurity. So there'll be 500 invitations going out also along with that.
Awesome.
We have all the materials in for the aspirin campaign. We'll be starting on that this week, and that'll be going out next week.
Awesome. Well done. Getting ahead of the game. That's what we like to see.
Yes.
Well done. 500 is a big number so well done getting that going as well.
Yes.
Good. Anybody else with some wins for the week?
Couple of small ones for us. We got our 2 first orders on this new MSP we just launched a couple of weeks ago, about 550 in monthly recurring. So small, but we're really excited about that. And a lot more in the pipeline that should be coming up in the next month or 2. And then we launched our first tech tip newsletter to 100 CPA firms. And we're going to add 100 more credit unions over the next week and a half. We're just in the process of scrubbing that list. So excited to get that underway, and then just going to add in the tech postcards right afterwards as well. Perfect.
Well done, Scott. I mean, I know there's small ones, but starting off like this, any win is a good win. So well done. Jim, you got one.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mark, especially starting from 0 revenue. Yeah.
Yeah. Been there before.
Good morning, everybody.
Jim, you've got one.
So QBRs have turned out to be really great. I should have added it up before the call this morning, but probably $700 or $800 in recurring revenue have come from upsells with QBRs. And my favorite part was one product that I've been trying to get these guys to pull the trigger on for probably 4 months now. And finally sitting in there in a QBR meeting and being completely unsales related, they got it and they purchased it. And then one of the other QBRs led to a warm introduction the same day as the QBR to a potential client. We're looking pretty good to get this client. That'll be about $3,600 in monthly recurring revenue. So we're really excited down here. This is good stuff.
Cool. So was that a referral from somebody in the QBR or just
yes.
a referral? Awesome.
Yeah. It's a long-time customer, but we've never really explored referrals with anybody much. And all I had to do was say it, and he said he's on the board of a school that is having a lot of trouble with their IT company, so we went right over. It's just great.
So don't forget, regardless of the outcome, and you can do 2, but send him either a thank you note, a personal thank you note, or just some sort of small gift card, $10, $20, $30 gift card, just as a thank you for the referral, regardless if you close it or not. Now, if you close it, you can also go back and send him something even bigger for that. But, just say that if somebody sends you a referral, always send a thank you note or a token of your appreciation. Sometimes, like in Scott's case, they won't be able to accept it. CPAs are normally not allowed to accept those things, but you can, you can still send the thank you. You can make a donation to a charity in their name, something like that as well. So always remember to do that. But good stuff, QBRs and referrals from QBRs on a winner. Sylvia, you've got one.
Yes, I finally got over my cough. But we have a couple wins. Our aspirin campaign, we've been working on, and then we've been working on the newsletter. But we actually came up with our very own campaign, and we call it our 911 campaign. So right now we're developing it with our Sherpa.
Perfect. What's the 911 campaign about?
Basically, it's hot leads. So any hot leads we get from, well, it's a whole structure that we get from a referral, or we can get from Indeed or ZipRecruiter. Those are, we already know their farm list. We already know they're hot. We already know they're qualified. So they go into our 911 campaign.
Perfect. So this is part of your sales pipeline then. Yeah.
Yeah. But before it gets into there, we kind of still have to target them.
Yeah, but they're in that opportunity stage. So whether you haven't actually got to the opportunity yet, but they're in your opportunity stage. So good. Well done. Good.
Yeah.
Just watch out, because Jeanette might steal that campaign off you and push it out to everybody, okay?
Oh, Jeanette, you can have it.
Oh, I'll be giving you a call a little bit later.
Yes, for sure.
You can save Jeanette hours of work here. But perfect. Anybody else with some wins? That's some good ones so far. I know it's early days, but keep going with the QBRs. Don't forget to send the follow-up email if they haven't scheduled with you. Send a second request or a final request. Same with the 9-word emails. It's been a few weeks now since you sent it out in class, so good time if you haven't already done it to send a second request. You'll get some more responses from that as well. Cool. So some housekeeping items before we move on with the actual call. I will share my screen. So 30-day contest deadline, Monday, March the 23rd at 5 o'clock Central. By my calculations, that was 3 weeks yesterday. So 3 weeks to get this done. So still plenty of time here. Go down, 9-word email. You should have all done that in class or after class. Cross-sell promotion and QBRs. We've done the target market now and the size of the target market. You guys had a really, really good couple of target market calls. Really like the 33 questions that were posted. Keep going with those. So keep reaching out. You can never have too many. The more information you've got, the more you will be able to beat your competition. Research the size of the target market. We're doing testimonials this week, USP and X reasons next week. You have to do the list building, so watch the deep dive and that yourself, and just make sure you turned up to every call, and you will get one of those nice Yetis. Okay, so before I go on to the couple of things on the 90-day checklist, is anybody having problems with any of the items on the 30-day checklist? So far, I mean, from what we've seen, everybody's doing well, but if you are having issues, if you're not 100% sure of your target market, anything like that, reach out to us at CoachAt, and we will get it done and talked with you about it. But so far, everything I saw, when we did the target market worksheet, you had some really good answers to the 33 questions. I know some of you were still working on it, but it's a work in progress, and get going and get the testimonials. Again, I did look through, and I think, we had something like 19 out of 25 of you have posted testimonials. So that was a good number here that we're going to cover today. But if you do have any issues, these things, the target market, the testimonials, the USP, and the X reasons, these are your 4 pillars for your marketing moving forward. So if you don't have these done, you need to shout early and get help early, because when we get you to do marketing, like your website, your your prospecting campaign, all those things, you won't have that right message to these prospects. So we need to make sure that you get these done, that you're happy with them, that you've got it as best as you think you can do it. But if you're struggling, reach out, coach@technologymarketingtoolkit.com, and we can get you going there. Quick thing, I know we're not on the 90-day checklist, and I want you to focus on the 30-day checklist, but there are 2 items on the 90-day checklist, these first 2. Complete your SEO plan. Okay, so everybody should have done that by now. If you go through, you can complete the SEO plan. By doing that, if you go into Accelerators Club menu, the Done For You website service, open that in a new tab. First of all, you need to start building your Robin Eyes website, and then click to complete that questionnaire. That goes off to the SEO company. Because there's a 4 to 5 week lead time on them getting back to you with their results, that's why I want to get you started on it now. So get in there, they're going to look at your current site, etc. You don't need to wait for your new site. They're going to look at your current site, and they're going to make recommendations on that. Okay, so that one, and also the shock and awe box, the physical shock and awe box, just takes a long time to put together. Okay, it's not that it's hard, it's just there's a number of items going in that shock and awe box. So please, again, get started, start looking through it, start planning on some of those things. Now, some of those items we're going to cover next week, like a USP and X reasons. And you've got testimonials covering this week, so you can put that book together. But it still does take time to put together, even if you're using, and we do have the Done For You shock and awe box. And it's $5.97 a month if you want to do it on the monthly subscription. But even then, we still need information from you. It takes time to put these things together, which is why I want you to start doing it now, so that you have something almost done when you're ready to start going on your appointments from the prospecting campaign. So let's have a quick look while I'm looking. Does anybody have any problems with the with the 30-day checklist? So I've got a couple of people here, Greg, Hagot, you guys have not got anything. You should have done something at least from the workshops, the QBR 9-word email. Kevin, Jim, you're not done a 9-word email yet? Gary's not done a 9-word email. You guys got some 9-word.
Those are going out today. I didn't really have anything in the hopper, but now I do, so that'll go out today.
Okay, cool. Alan, you've got some to do. We got no target market here for Alan. Sam, you've got your target market defined, so you can check that box off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mark Bauer, we've got to catch up. Delcy, Erin, Richard. We've got a few people that are getting behind already, so we need you to get on top of these. Some of you, it's a matter of just going into that home tab. By the way, you can't click these, okay? These are just the results. To check off the boxes, go in here, but go in and check them off, okay? Because we use this to base your progress and see if you're in trouble or not, so we can reach out to you. So please help us to help you by making sure that you've got these checked off in plenty of time and you're not struggling anywhere. Anybody got any issues with the 30-day checklist?
So Mark, yeah, I'm trying to figure out, so I need to get a list together essentially to be able to send out these 9-word emails and everything else. So I don't have prospects.
So the 9-word, yeah, the 9-word email, Eric, that is for leads that have gone quiet. So you've dealt with them. You were, so if you don't have any of those, then you don't have any. Hang on till the end of the 30 days or close to the end. But if you don't have any, you can't send any because you're a brand new startup. Right. So you just check that one off, okay? Because what I'm looking for is you going through the process and you've looked and I don't have anything to send out this quarter, so I'm gonna check that one off, okay? So you can check it off. Cross-sell, again, because you're brand new, you don't really have anybody to cross-sell to. You don't have any clients. If you did have one or two, just send something to your wife, even though she's not a client yet. Send her a cross-sell. Just go through the, I mean, you can use her to go
I am
through
cross-selling to her.
yeah, you can go through the motions of the process. So it's more about getting things done, you know, rather, I want you to go through the process. I want you to pick a cross-sell email. Pick VoIP, for example, do the email and send it to her. Yeah. Now, she's not a client, I know, so not strictly, but I want you to go through the process so you know what's involved, because the two biggest blocks that most people have with their marketing is, first of all, they get very scared of sending something out, and it's because they haven't looked at it or done it. And secondly, they get paralyzed by all sorts of things, and they just don't get it done. And it's like going to the gym. Okay, if you go to the gym every day, it's really, really easy, and it's second nature. You don't think anything of it. But if you skip a few weeks, it takes more than that. You've gone back 3 weeks. If you miss 2, you go back 3. So we want you to go through and do these things on a regular basis, just so that you're actually doing something. So in your case, you can do it, send it to your wife, and you'll know what's involved, and you've got something done, and you've got something out the door, and it wasn't as hard as you thought it was, and you know, it has a knock-on effect of building up the momentum later on when you have to do the prospecting campaign.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else with any questions? Problems with 30-day checklist?
I got a question.
Yes.
So the 9-word email, so I proposed something last week. How long do we wait before we send that 9-word?
Until they go quiet. You're still in an active process. You're still doing follow-ups. It would be, normally what I'm looking at is I haven't had anything back from them for about 30 days. I've reached out a few times and not heard anything. So not even 30 days from the proposal, 30 days since I've last heard from them, despite sending out 2 or 3 previous emails.
Okay, so after proposal, like it's been a week, should I send the second request out?
Yes, yeah. Well, start following up with them. If it's a proposal, first of all, you should always book a meeting. First thing with sales, never leave without booking a meeting. Okay.
For the next meeting, 'cause we had the one meeting already.
You've had one meeting. You should not have left until the next, until you've got it in the calendar. Not next Wednesday or next week. Does Thursday 2 o'clock work for you? Let's get it in. Let me send the invite out now. Yeah.
All right.
So never leave a meeting, because it's so hard to get back. It's easy to move a meeting than it is to get one booked. Okay. And they're all with you at the time saying, look, I've got to go back and do this. I've got to come back and present my findings to you. It's going to take me 3 to 4 days. And you don't say what day works best for you. You give them a date and a time. It's Thursday, 2 p.m. Good.
So we'll just do that
no,
now.
what about 3?
Yeah. Okay. I'll do that now then. Great.
Yeah. Get that done, and get that back on track with those guys.
So now, okay, gotcha.
Cool. Anybody else? We're good.
Hey, Mark, quick question on the size of the target market. Is that something I should be trying to pay for, or because I've looked at these different websites and it's
no, you don't need to. You don't need to pay for it. We had the we had the census link that we gave you in the binder or whatever. The other way you can do it very quickly is you can go to Info USA or Reference USA, plug those things in, and it will tell you that there's like 1,793 and it's going to cost you $53 to download it or whatever. You just don't need to download it. It's told you how many contacts there are. Okay. So as long as you put your SIC codes in, your location and everything else, and check the only one contact per company, that's going to give you that rough thing.
Okay. Because what I've looked, maybe I'm just looking at the wrong location, but I've seen that when I'm looking for dental, it's really large number. And all the special, everything's just grouped together. So it's hard to really get down to general dentists and whatnot like that. And sometimes in the census, it's under, at least for Florida, they haven't had a census for a long time on businesses. And it was like 2012, I think it was.
Yeah, so
they're grouped under health.
Yeah, I like Info USA with my SIC codes. and I'll go down to 6-digit SIC codes. I mean, the other thing as well with your case with dentists, they're all licensed, so you can go to the state licensing board. That's normally free to grab. It's all public information. There's usually somewhere something that you can grab that information and get a count of all the dentists and or the actual practices. So you can look at it that way too. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Mark,
So yes.
real quick, I'm sorry. On that topic, I've also heard the library works. I haven't tried it, but I've heard
Yes. So
your list from the library.
yeah, so that's Reference USA. It's exactly the same as Info USA. The difference is Reference USA is free if you belong to the library, but you've got to go into the library to use it. You can't do it online like you do with Info USA. But the database behind it all, etc., is exactly the same. Okay, so Reference USA is that in the library. You've got to join your library and you've got to go in to do it, but exactly the same database as Info USA.
Hey, Mark.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Hey, Mark.
Yes, sir.
I would have her check that, because the Lancaster Library, you can do it online. You're just limited to 100 names at a time.
All right. There
So
you go.
check it out first.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't tried it. It was a reference.
That's a good source.
Go check out the library. I was like, cool.
Yeah, ours can be done online through the library.
Okay, so more of them are coming online. So it's been a while since I went to the library to do this, so they're catching up with us these days.
Mark, what about in the UK? Who should we use?
I am still working on that, Sam. I've got reached out to a number of providers. My providers over here don't do anything over there, and they don't even have any recommendations for me. I'm working with CompTIA and Datto and a couple of other people to see where we can get those lists from.
Okay.
For you, but I'm still working on that.
No problem. Thanks.
Next thing on the agenda, just a quick reminder: has anybody not registered for boot camp? Everybody's all registered, so you should go into boot camp under Accelerators Club menu, 2020 Boot Camp RSVP, and you should see this message. If you see the form saying attending virtual or attending live, that means that somehow your registration didn't get through, so please do it again. And that way, don't forget as well, just above the map here is the hotel booking links. There's multiple options if you haven't got your rooms reserved. I am going to be pulling a list later on, so I don't expect to see anybody on this list. Anybody in here, they're going to appear on that list to say that they are not registered. Otherwise, you're going to get a phone call from me, and you don't want a phone call from me saying you didn't do it. You've got to turn up to boot camp, and don't forget my special Accelerators Club members exclusive pre-workshop on implementing a consistent drip marketing system. And that's going to be followed up in the afternoon with some Infusionsoft training, and Jeanette and her team are going to carry on from there, implementing it all in Infusionsoft. So you definitely want to be on both mine and then Jeanette's training for that. So make sure you're there. 10 a.m. Is when we start on that Wednesday morning, so make sure you're there. We got the high-level agenda here, and everything wraps up by 11 o'clock Central. So probably by about 1:32-ish, you can get your flights out. It gives you time to get there, checked in through security, etc. So you can get home on that Saturday evening. Even on the West Coast, you'd still be able to get home in time. So, any questions on boot camp? Tom, you got one. You're muted again, Tom.
Okay, so when we go to boot camp, when we go to these sessions, do we bring our computers with us?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm finalizing that, but 90% sure yes.
You mean in the big room, Mark?
No, we're in a separate room. We
separate
will,
room. Okay.
yeah, we will have internet, I believe, but I don't know if we got power. I will check with Megan and get back to you next week on that because we were finalizing in that. So last time we had power and internet. So I will double check and confirm for you in plenty of time this week.
Yeah, so
Okay.
since this thing goes all day long, we'll be somewhere secure to keep our computers, like in between things? Or we have to-
Yeah,
Your hotel
so
room.
you have your areas. I mean, I wouldn't leave laptops and that lying around, but most people are taking their stuff with them. You probably want it for these sessions on that Wednesday, okay?
Okay.
In the evening and the next days, you'll want to make notes. So maybe you want something, or maybe you're using paper, but there's no workshop type stuff on those sessions. So you could leave them up in your room in those cases. Yeah.
Okay.
Mark, I would say for the opening session on Wednesday night, nobody really needs their laptop.
No.
It's more of a state of the industry addressed by Robin. And on Thursday and Friday, of course, your laptops. At boot camp, just so you know, you have internet access, but there is not power at the table. So use your laptop sparingly or take notes.
Yeah. I tend to not bother with my laptop. I
Right.
would take my iPad and make notes that way, or a pen and pencil. And remember, with boot camp, we record all this, so you don't need to take copious notes. What you just need to do is write down a time and a couple of keywords so that you can go back in a couple of weeks and fast forward to that session. We break up all the recordings into the 90-minute sessions, and so you can say, hey, Saturday, 9:23, good bit about this, and this, and so you can go and find that session, fast forward to that time, and go through it again. So you don't need to take copious notes or anything, just make lots of sort of one-liner notes for you to go back and review later. So you don't need your laptop. I would say you need it more in this Wednesday sort of afternoon, because there's a lot of sponsor sessions, and if you're doing Infusionsoft training, etc., you're going to need them then. But after that, it's more note-taking throughout the rest of the event.
Well, the hotel is booked for that day, so you can't get rooms in the hotel. So it's not an option to run it back to your room, because you can't. They just don't have a room for that night. So everybody's gonna be off site.
Okay, we'll figure something out with that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we will get on to the testimonials now. So I am going to stop sharing my screen, and Rich, who is the master of testimonials and rewrites, he's written a few thousand testimonials by now, I think. Rich, haven't you?
Well, I figured I'm well over 800.
Right. And just before you get into it, Rich is going to show you some of the rewrites that he took from your homework, and he's going to do some live editing while he goes through them. It will be posted to the resources once we finish the call, once all the edits are done. So no need to worry about anything or asking if it's going to be posted. It will be posted at the end of the call once all these rewrites are done. So handing it over to you, sir.
All right. Well, before I go into sharing my screen, I just want to make a couple of comments about testimonials. And like Mark said, I've seen quite a few. And to be honest with you, this was a really good group of testimonials. You paid careful attention, I think, to what Mark was saying in the workshop, and so. I didn't have quite as many edits, but I have some general suggestions that by the time we get through all of them you will have a good idea what to do with your testimonials. Now, Mark, you scared me a little bit because you said there were 19 testimonials posted, and I don't think I did 19 because I pulled mine about 7 o'clock Friday night, and with my crazy schedule driving down in Kingsport today, yesterday, and over the weekend, I didn't go back and look. So there may be some that were posted after 5 o'clock. I don't know, but
I think there was, from memory, there was like 4 posted after.
okay. All right. So we will not be talking about those today. So anyway, several things about testimonials. The first thing is, the big deal about testimonials is they're used to overcome objections in advance. And it works like this. The number one complaint that most people have about their IT company is they never hear from them. They call them, they don't respond, blah, 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 whatever that is. There's lack of responsiveness. So if you've got a testimonial that says, these guys are great, they answer their phone on the 3rd ring, you know, within a half an hour, I know my problem is well on the way to being solved, that immediately answers and overcomes that objection right away. It also backs up, whoops, I want to mute those. I'm getting some feedback here. Thanks. It also backs up a claim or guarantee that you're making, and it also offers social proof. So if Tom Park stands out on the street corner and says, hey, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread, well, you know, Cora and his family and the dog may say, yeah, I agree with that. But if Brian is standing out in the street corner saying, hey, Tom's the greatest thing since sliced bread, sure, people are going to pay attention to that because it's someone else giving you validity. So that social proof is very important. There's a few other things on testimonials that I've picked up over the last couple of years. In a way, it sets the standard for your competition because your competition may not have them, or they may not understand how really to use those testimonials. So if they're silent, you have the playground all to yourself. The sandbox is all yours with testimonials. Testimonials are also a great source for your USP. It's really clues about who your clients think you are and what they like about you. So pay careful attention to those. And even take your testimonials and take a pad of paper next to you and read through your testimonials and just start writing down the things that they are giving you praise for. And then look and see how many of those that you can work into your unique selling proposition. The other thing I'd like you to do today is see what you can learn from these other testimonials, because it may very well be that you'll see a testimonial on the screen today, and you'll say, oh, we do that. I need to get a testimonial for that. So pay attention to that. I'm going to share my screen now. And I think the first place I want to stop is here. All right, let me just move this out of the way slightly. So with your testimonials, where we are right now, with your X Reasons Roadmap, where we are right now, we're here in the testimonials. And we're trying to learn
Rich, you're coming through a bit muffled.
All right, hang on.
Okay, that's good there.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just stay right there.
All right. Don't want to be muffled. Okay, so you're at this point in testimonials. What are testimonials saying about you? That will, of course, drip down into your unique selling proposition, which are the features. And then when you get to the X reasons, it's the feature and benefit explanation, which we've talked about before. So let me go over here to the testimonials. Just set up my screen a little bit. Give me a second. All right. And let's see, let me do one other thing here. Hang on. There we go. Gives me a few more resources here. Okay. So Mark, are you on the call? So whenever your testimonial comes up, just unmute so we can have a little conversation as we go. And this will probably take about a half an hour. And then after that, just right over lunchtime, I have this other little treat for you, about a 10-minute talk on how to turn testimonials into a great client profile. So Mark, are you on the call there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I want to make a couple of comments just in general before you start. So when you have a testimonial in front of you, read it carefully and read it for two things. Read it for what are they talking about as far as your technical prowess, and what is there sort of a main emotion that comes through from the testimonials. So look for sort of the technical part, and if there's any emotion that comes through, because that emotion is important. Then the other thing, when you look at the testimonial, you say, well, is it good enough? Do I need to do a little bit of editing, or do I have to do a lot of editing? And then look at the voice in the testimonial, and before you make any changes, and say, is this voice them? If you want to change words, are you going to end up changing words that might change their voice? So be careful about their voice. So a couple of things here on your testimonial. I highlighted in red what I thought was the most important thing from their testimonial. Number one, they are a small school district, correct?
Correct.
And the most important thing I picked out is they can't afford to hire employees who do everything that your guys do for them. They just can't afford it.
That's absolutely right.
Okay, and that was the most important thing in the whole testimonial. And you got it in down here, cannot afford to hire, yet desperately require. So I went back and I rewrote this slightly, just to get it into a better flow, from the standpoint that, and this is for all of you, we designed these questions to flow in a certain way. To number one, talk about the biggest benefit, to talk number two about why you do things better, and talk about number three, why you would recommend them as a prospect. So you sort of want to keep that flow. It's a natural flow. You could start with a call to action, give them a call. They're great people, but you haven't really built the case yet. So the first two questions are sort of really building the case to focus towards the third question. So in your case, I slightly altered the testimonial here. So the biggest benefit to Swallow School District since moving to K-12 TG managed services is the experts in different styles of technology available to us. And then he has his small public school district and can't afford employees. And he also says we've evaluated many other K-12 service providers. And I think you originally had the word technology in here. I took that out because it confuses the reader with your name. So I see. You see what I did? Okay, yep. It was just made it a little bit clearer in reading it. I wasn't quite sure who I was reading about. So added the little phrase here, our preferred partner for almost 2 decades. I don't think, yeah, you have it down here. That's right. And the reason it's highlighted is a sub-headline. And I'll talk about that in just a minute. So 2 things here, the call to action. They're obviously really happy, and you've done a good job with them. So I said, give them a call and experience what we experienced. A little bit of the Sleepless in Seattle line, but enjoy what we're enjoying. And then the headline. I was a little stuck with the headline, but I think ultimately we want to reinforce their biggest message. Our IT department, their employees. So it's really, they're saying we feel like we really own this IT department, but we don't have to pay for it because it's their employees. So I think that really strengthens the testimonial. Now, for all of you, I want to call attention to a couple of things. I want to talk about what I call the eye read. Testimonials should be set up so the eye is not repelled, so there is a natural flow for the eye. And Robin works on this, and we'll show it to you on her sales letters. There's a natural path the eye wants to follow on her sales letters. So number one is the headline, and in this case it's 16 point. The second place the eye will stop is the subheadline, and then almost always your eye will go to a picture, and once it goes to the picture, it will read what's underneath. So to create that eye flow helps. Now, you notice down here, in this, at the bottom of the page here, you've got, looks like seven sentences in that paragraph. That's a lot for someone to get into. People are a little bit repelled by that much type. If I would turn this into something like that, you know, it's going to be more difficult for people to want to read it. So by just giving a little space, you know, 3, 4, maybe 5 maximum sentences in a testimonial paragraph, you're going to get people to feel welcome and to go in there. The other thing is about the font. This font is what we call a serif font. And I'll make it really big. You see down here, we have all these little feet on the font. That's because when you put this on the printed page, the light comes from behind you, and it helps your eye grab the type and read it. If you're doing it from a standpoint of on the websites, what we generally recommend is you use what we call a sans serif type. And the reason for that is the light comes from the other side. The light comes from your computer screen, not over your shoulder, to help you read. That's just a little trick that we have learned in helping make you know, testimonials more readable. So I covered a lot of territory there. Does that make sense, what we just did with your testimonial?
Yes, it does. The one question I had is, when we're writing testimonials, when do we use K12TG and spell out the entire company name, and what would differentiate that?
Yeah, that's a good question, because it's a little complicated here. First, I would say, and I'll talk about this at another testimonial where I picked it up. It's important that you stick with your brand and not confuse your customers. So if you're K12 technology group, then always use that. If you prefer to go K12TG, then consistently use that. Try to be consistent. You can use them both interchangeably, but if you're in one document, you know, try to pick one and stay with it. And the reason I say that branding is important, if you've ever typed an email to Mark or to me, the first time you type it, you've got to type rich@technologymarketingtoolkit.com. You can't just type rich@tmt.com. And I asked Robin about this one time, and she said, well, that's our brand. And that's how you reinforce your brand. Just like Dashboard is part of our brand, and we use a capital D. Accelerators Club and Producers Club is part of our brand, and we capitalize those. We don't say PC, we don't say ACCL. We do internally, but client-facing, no. It's important to maintain your brand. So, so that's a good question. I would say in something like this, if you want to use both, use the big one first, and then after that, forever use the small one, or just, you know, stick with the small one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, because we have certain customers that refer to us exclusively. I mean, K12TG employee, K12TG, that's how they refer to us. So it's certainly a valid piece to the puzzle. It's just what's best for all is kind of what I was getting at.
Well, I'm afraid there's no really answer what's best for all. In this case, it's a little bit like when you ask someone how do you pronounce a name of a town, well, the correct pronunciation is whatever the people who live there use. So I'm from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, but a lot of people look at that and say, "Oh, you're from Lancaster." No, I never heard of that place. So in a way, it's what people use. So if they use both, then that's what's common and what's comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. We're going to move on to Cora. Morning, Cora. Is Cora on the line?
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
By the way, I want you to know I have two aunts named Cora.
Oh, very good. That's unusual.
Oh, it is. And believe me, they were unusual women.
Sure.
And they were from the South, both of them from Tennessee.
As was my great grandmother.
All right. All right. So a couple of things about your testimonial here. I went back to the original and pulled out, just to keep it sort of in order. You could use this one down here at the bottom. The one I wrote slightly, I added, for example, anything here in yellow, just to make it a little bit more explanatory, and also to use a call of action here. Yeah, this is one of those testimonials. When I saw it, I thought, well, you know, I think what they wrote is really good enough. Just do a couple of little edits. And the biggest edit that I have, and this is for all of you, and it always crops up 2 or 3 times, is we get into the past tense. And you don't want to be in the past tense. And even in her rewrite, Cora avoided that very smartly, because if you say Cora and the team at Diamond has always served, well, it's sort of like, oh, don't they do that anymore?
Right.
So you stay away from the past tense, and I have my notes here in red. Have, has, had been. Sometimes people could say Cora and the team at Diamond provided. Well, again, that's the past tense. So you just simply change that to provides to get you in the right frame of mind. And again, it's better always to use the active voice, because really what you want to do is you want the people, you want to grab them with your headline and you want to move them through your testimonial, and you don't want them tripping over grammar or things that don't move the conversation forward. So I think it's a good testimonial. They say some nice things about you. You use a headline, Diamond understands our business. I felt like they were more talking about your terrific customer service and responsiveness. Here where they say, yeah. So I picked that one just as another option. Let's see here. I have by the way, one of the things that we're going to give you at the end of this is I have about a 3-page cheat sheet here of things that I'm talking about. So you don't need to write all these down. They'll be in a Word doc for you to look at. I just want to make sure I'm getting things here. We talked about, talk about the picture. I did talk about that. The picture, the easiest way to do this, and I know there's some other instructions in Rapid, or maybe in the documents. The easiest way I found to do this is grab a really good picture from LinkedIn, and then when you send them the testimonial, you just send a quick email and say, hey, here is a rewrite we did of your testimonial. Let me know what you think. And never say, do you like the picture? Because half the people will come back and say, no, I don't like the picture. So let them bring that up themselves. So, all right. I'm going to move on. Thank you, Cora.
Thank you.
Here is Greg. Greg, are you on the call?
I'm here.
All right. Didn't make many suggestions for your rewrite here. I added one of the things that happens that some customers are especially sensitive to, and when they say it, I want to make sure you highlight it. And that is sometimes some people feel like their IT provider talks down to them. And they talk down to them because the customer, the prospect, doesn't understand IT speak. And evidently that was a problem with the previous one here. So whenever a customer brings that up, especially as an issue, and say that doesn't happen with you, that's something that needs to be put out there, because that is a frustration or emotion that people have, is not paying attention to me, and we didn't speak IT speak, and so it was harder for us because they wouldn't take time to really explain things to us. So I picked that out, and then I think I added the piece back here. Let me see here. You had it. Okay, you got 2 of the 3 here. Overcharged, not responsive. The part you left out was they didn't seem to care. So I stuck that back in here.
Let's see here now.
Yeah, they're responsive, always willing to help in a crisis, and make you feel like you're the most important client. Maybe you did have that. I just want to make sure we got that in. Yeah, feel like you're the most important client. You got that in. So again, there are 2 really important emotions here that Scott is aware of. And he is an attorney, and it's a great thing when attorneys are aware of emotions. And number 1 was taking time to explain things to them. And the fact that you did that showed that you really cared. So I think it's a good testimonial.
Great.
Jay.
Yes.
You had something in here I've never seen in my 800 testimonials. And that's where the client said, return my server and mental status to normal. I mean, of course, when somebody's server isn't working, they're going to be stressed to the max. But that's the first time I ever saw someone say that. So I want to make sure you got that in here. I mean, it's kind of kitsy, but it's one of those phrases that may catch somebody who has the same sort of feeling. And I'll go back to the peace of mind feeling that comes up once in a while, the emotion. It came up a couple times here. Shortly after we published our book at Easy Solution about 10 years ago, I sent a canvasser out to drop a copy of the book off and talk to the manager or president of 20 local businesses we wanted to do business with. She happened to catch somebody who was just leaving on a plane, who was getting ready to leave for a trip, threw it in his overnight bag, his bag he carries on the plane, read the book on the plane, got off the plane, called our office and says, Tom, you and I need to talk. Well, after we got the appointment, Tom got to the appointment. What grabbed this guy was that Tom had a chapter on there how we can take care of your IT and give you peace of mind. Well, this guy was a general manager of a produce company. He had about 70 trucks that had to be loaded between 2:30 and 4:30 in the morning. And the IT had to work flawlessly, because if the printer jammed or the computer server went down, there were 70 trucks for produce that weren't going to get loaded. And so he was living in a constant state of not peace of mind. So sometimes just that phrase will capture it. And that's a good example of taking advantage of something that your client gave you. And I wasn't sure down here at the bottom what this shorthand was. Relationship and knowledge is better than size and knowledge. Is that what that means? Down here at
Yes.
the bottom?
So they were using a greater than sign. He was
Yeah.
trying to say relationship and knowledge is much better than size.
That's right. So that's what I put in there, because not everybody is going to understand the greater than sign. If you want to go back and put it in, that's fine, but I just thought it made it a little bit clearer.
Okay.
So, all right, good. Kelly. Is Kelly on the line?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I got 3 headlines here for you. Again, a phrase came through here that I haven't seen before. I should make a list of these because they're good things for other people. This rock solid certain. He made a point of saying, I don't recommend people as a rule unless he's rock solid certain that they're referring people to be reliable, dependable, cost effective, and personable as they are with you. So I didn't really make any changes. I took this paragraph and I, let's see, I think I did put in the past where you talked about trying to fit you in. But anyway, so I think it flows pretty good here. Whoops, ourselves. We'll leave ourselves. Yeah, you've made a significant effort to understand the corporate client here and how our business runs. This guy, tell me he's a tough sale. Is he a tough sell?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, okay. So when you got a recommendation from a guy who's a tough sell, this is really good. And I went through several variations on the headline here. Technical support in less than 60 seconds. Rock solid certain your IT delivers. Reliable, dependable, personable. I'll tell you why I like the 3, because it meets what I call the rule of 3. And I learned this from Dan Kennedy, who is one of Robin's mentors. I heard him talk one time about when you create a headline, if you can use the rule of 3, it's something that people can immediately grasp onto and run with. And he gave us the example of they came, they saw, they conquered. And I'm sure in Latin that Debbie could probably recite that in Latin. But it's 3. It's not 2 and it's not 4. If you say reliable, dependable now, okay. You say reliable, dependable, and quick, it's really still not quite as good as the 3. So gave you some options for headlines there. I think it's a really sterling recommendation. And especially if you have other clients who may be like him, make sure that you get this on the top. If you send them a shock and awe box, make sure this is the testimonial that's on top.
Okay.
So they understand it, because that's part of the beauty of using testimonials. You can customize them to the standpoint of who you send it to and in what order, because this testimonial would mean much more to this type of a person than someone who was a little more, say, laissez-faire in their business approach. So, all right, good. Jeff.
Yes, yes, I'm here. Yep.
Okay. Other thing I added here was this paragraph here. Partnership provides unparalleled technology solutions. I thought it just added a little bit to the testimonial. You chose to leave it out, but I think it just adds a little bit more to it. Oh, you've got it down here below. I didn't see that.
Right.
All right.
Yep, I added. Yep.
You did. Okay. Well, then let's just take it out.
Because I figured it was good to stress the relationship, the partnership that we have with them. Yep.
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 Okay. Well, it was probably 11:30 last night when I did this one. So then I wouldn't really change anything here. I think you did a good job in the rewrite. They like your professionalism, you're pleasant to work with, being expert. So there's a lot of good things in here. And if you want to say send this testimonial to someone who values customer experience, and you want to emphasize that, change the headline to emphasize. Change the headline to emphasize best customer experience.
Okay.
As opposed to the solution. So you all have that freedom to alter the testimonials, using the headline, depending on where you're sending them.
All right. When the testimonial signed, it seems like you always have the 5 buckets below. Your picture, name, position, company, and location. Is location just strictly like city, state? You don't list no address or anything like that.
No,
right?
no, it's just,
Right.
Bakersfield, California. Whatever.
Okay.
Yep.
And when it comes time for the picture, do you pretty much have to be consistent one way or another when you're posting these testimonials, whether it's the website or a booklet, meaning everybody should have a picture, or, just in case, I don't know if there are situations where some yes, some no, if it was odd in any way,
No, you want as many pictures as you can.
Right.
I would say if they don't have a picture, then just don't put anything there. Some people have put a logo there, but that's, the logo didn't really give you the recommendation. It was jammed.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah, don't stress out about not getting a picture, but it's something that people look for.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Rich.
This image of you bending over backwards was one of those images I couldn't get out of my mind. And I think he's.
And I'm stiff as a rock too. That's the funny part. Yeah.
And again, I think that's a phrase that's unique. So that's really 3 phrases I've had this in this group of testimonies are unique. But I don't think I've had anybody say that before. But it really illustrates what he likes about you, and that's going the extra mile. I picked that for your headline. Now you can, you can change that if you want. I took out just a couple of words here. I have some words that you'll find on my cheat sheet that I think words that don't really move the conversation forward. And there are words like often, every, very, some, sometimes, most, many, always. They're just words that get in the way. So I picked out a couple of those here. But no, it's a good testimony. You did a good job. You did a good job writing it up.
Thank you.
In fact, he did a good job of writing a testimony because you didn't have to do much work to it. So, yeah. Good.
Sounds
You asked
good.
the right question. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. Whoops. I gotta see something here. Mary, are you on? Sorry.
Yes, we are with
Okay.
Sylvia.
Okay. With Sylvia. All right. What did I do here? I didn't change too much here. I added a couple of things here in yellow. When I read through this testimonial, it was like having a team that can ensure technology is efficient and up to date. And that was important, but then you sort of need, what is it? It is priceless. So just added that. I put back in here that we no longer struggle having systems that are outdated or technology that is a patchwork. You wouldn't believe how many prospects complain about the patchwork quilt of their, that I've seen complain about the patchwork quilt of their IT system. Partly because, they may have some, an old server but up-to-date Windows 10 machines, and they might have an outdated phone system that doesn't talk or integrate with the computer system. So that patchwork thing is important. I got that back in there. Again, the human touch, but I put in here, we love the human touch. And then the other part here, I think they had, Yeah, the human relationships parts. That was good. People don't often call that out in a testimonial. And again, that goes back to some of the previous testimonials we had where people really appreciated the care and attentiveness. And so that should be giving you some clues as reading through these testimonials that you've seen 12 or 13 testimonials from other prospects across the country, but they're picking out some similar themes. And one of those themes seems to be that they like that part that's the not technology part, but that where you care, where you answer the phone, where you have good relationships, where you can explain things to them, where you're responsive, friendly. So those are important things. And I'm assuming this guy is a not-for-profit because he say they know not-for-profits. Dealing with not-for-profits is a little different sometimes than dealing with other businesses. I had a 6-month stint about 15 years ago where I was an interim executive director of a not-for-profit. My job was to put Humpty Dumpty back together again after they fired the previous executive director. And I know the funders, all the stakeholders, all of those people have such a vested interest in their not-for-profit. One thing I also learned working with it was not an easy solution. It was another company. I was general manager of the computer division. Is that we had a lot of not-for-profits. Well, the interesting about not-for-profits, they almost exclusively are run by an executive director team of some sort and a board. Is that correct?
Yes.
There's always a board. Well, it's very important for you to get in front of the board at least once a year and give them a State of the Union address on their IT, and become acquainted with the board members as the IT person, because what we found was that if you take care of their not-for-profit and they know about it, they'll help take care of you. So they're a huge resource for getting you into maybe into your target. If you have a particular target that's not-for-profits or something else. All the board members are generally not other non-for-profit leaders, but they're business leaders. So they're a real resource for you to tap if you work with not-for-profits. So does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, Marcia Burkhardt.
I'm here.
Hi.
Hi.
I have to find out sometime where your husband's relatives are from. We have a lot of Burkhardts in Lancaster County.
Actually, he's from the Harrisburg area, so it is kind of funny when you talk about Lancaster.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. What changes? I didn't make many changes here. You see down here, okay, I took out the has again and put in freezes because again, we want to keep you in sort of the present tense because they'll do it. And in 2 testimonials here, and I see this crop up once in a while, the phrase "in a timely manner." Now I understand what they're saying, but in the case, or maybe you said that. I don't know if you said that or if they said that. I don't know if you have that or they. It doesn't make a difference.
I think it just says timely response.
Timely response. Yeah. When I see the phrase "timely manner," if I had a great aunt Eloise who wore a high-necked wool dress all summer with long sleeves, I would expect her to use the phrase "timely manner." It doesn't really help move the conversation forward. So that's why I picked the word quickly. And some people use that phrase. We have it again in another testimonial. I made some took out a few words down here. And you see, it just helps move the conversation forward. I realize I didn't pick out a subheadline here for you. rest assured. So that covers sort of the peace of mind. How about we do this one? And I'm curious about threefold IT. What does threefold IT mean? Where did that come from?
You know, it's funny. Mark is on the call and he might explain it better than I do. I know, Mark, do you want to step in and comment on that?
Sure. So it's based off the threefold purchase, which is like a simple machine used in, it's like a pulley system, and it gives you mechanical advantage. So we kind of based it off the premise of, you know, that concept to give people a technological advantage in their businesses.
Okay, okay. I get it now. All right, yeah, okay. And I'm sure you have some kind of a logo that goes with it that helps explain that. So, yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I'm always curious when I see a name that I haven't seen before, that there has to be something behind it. And maybe on your webpage, you might want to offer that explanation, you know, in the About Us section. You know,
For
why
sure, yeah.
you pick that name. It doesn't harm you in any way. It's just raised a question in my mind, and that's a good thing. Is what does that mean? You know, so
yeah, it actually is kind of interesting because we definitely have had prospects ask that question in meetings, and it gives us a nice opportunity to explain
absolutely
why we chose the name and, you know, how we can leverage technology for their businesses.
Sure. Well, and they wouldn't be asking if you said you were Bill Smith IT, because they would know.
Right.
And in a way, this is a good lesson for all of you, because the name in some way here gives Mark an opportunity to have a conversation he might not have had otherwise. So, yeah. All right. Good.
Starting your business with a number doesn't hurt either, because you end up at the top of all your vendor lists.
All right. Okay, we're making progress here. James. Is James on the call?
Oh, James isn't. He's it's like 4 in the morning in Australia. So if you could review it, that would be great.
All right. Well, so I'll just make a quick comment here. He didn't have a headline, and I picked worry-free IT because they have this peace of mind in here right away, and the fact that they have someone on site once a week takes the worry away. So I like that headline. And we'll go on down here to Sam.
That's me.
Yep. IBRS group. All right.
Yep.
Okay. The only thing I did here was I got rid of the has been, because you're not really a has been.
Right.
You know. And I got rid of the was. Got you back into the present tense.
Yep.
And here, right here, these are two of my favorite non-essential words. That, they. You know, you just think logically about that. Why do you need the that?
Yep.
So I got rid of that. Again, it's just an attempt to move things forward. Now, I don't know how it is with you, but when you say in the States someone jumps to their own conclusion, that's not a good thing. Because when you say someone jumps to their own conclusion, that generally means they did it without thinking about it very much.
Yeah, so I think what I was saying, I think what he was saying from the raw thing, that we didn't jump to our own conclusion, and we waited to diagnose the issue.
Okay, well, see, I looked at it the other way, but you can change that. Yep. I said, for me, what sets them apart is they quickly diagnose an issue and provide realistic and achievable results.
So in a lot of areas that we're working, there's a lot of politics involved, because we deal specifically with cybersecurity in large multinational corporates.
Mm-hmm, sure.
So what experience that my client had previously is that they had a lot of like the Big Four, etc. Various other consultants came in and they said, oh, yeah, blah, 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 blah. We've seen this before, do X, Y, and Z, but they didn't actually listen to the client. They didn't understand the issue, didn't understand the dynamics of the organization and the politics involved. So, you know, and we're quite careful about that. We really try to understand the root cause of the issue.
Okay, so we're going to put that in there. Okay.
But sometimes we do a quick diagnosis and a jump forward, but you know, it's on a client by client basis. You know, we try to. We have an expression over here: the Lord gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason.
Right, right. Okay, so they did not jump to conclusions quickly in diagnosing our issues. This gave us realistic and achievable solutions to address the root cause. Okay, so, okay, good, excellent.
Okay.
All right, I think we're down to about 3 here. Stephen Parker. Stephen, are you on? Debbie, is Steve on?
He's on.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on, and yeah.
Okay. Well,
he's not showing on video, but he's on.
All right. Well, he may have stepped away for a moment. The thing I was confused here, and he can watch the video, is I was confused about the use of base states and then this JIT solutions. So I wasn't sure. It says up here base state integrated solutions, but then in the referral is always for JIT solutions. And I didn't change much here. I just added a couple sentences, so he can take a look at that. We'll move on to Victoria. Victoria, are you on the call?
Hey, I am. It was kind of a joint effort, so
Okay.
between me, Kaylee, and Emily. I don't think Emily and Kaylee are on the call.
Well, that's all right. I'm going to give you all the credit.
Okay, good.
Because you did a really good job. And what I noticed right away is you got right to the issue up here, because the issue was not the issue. You got right to the point. The point was that once we started using Warren, our network quit crashing. Well, you know, sort of praise be, okay. And when the network was down, our customers couldn't book business, and they lose money. And then again, with our other provider, you talked about the problem. So in the case, in both cases, these paragraphs, you sort of talk about a problem and how that was before and how it was solved. Okay, and that's a good thing. Oh yeah, on the fence thing down here. I know you guys were probably going back and forth on this. I had a testimonial 2 weeks ago where the client said something like, what I put in here, if you are on the fence, get off. You can't be comfortable and hire Warren. They will simplify your life. Give them a call today. So, you know, I think it's all right to leave that piece in there.
Okay.
So, yeah, good job.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
All right, Stephen's back.
Who's back?
Yeah, Stephen's back. Stephen Parker.
Oh, hi, Stephen. I just had a question about what the difference between base states and JIT here.
Oh, it's a new renaming. We're rebranding.
Okay, so you are no longer base state.
Correct.
Okay, all right. So get rid of that, and we will call it JIT Solutions. All right. All right. So I didn't really change much here. What I added was I just added here in the yellow. Of course, that will be out now. Okay. But no, you did a good job here. The one thing I struggled with a little bit was the headline. but after I read through it several times, I realized that this particular client travels all over the country, and they may be fairly needy for IT services when they travel. So peace of mind 24/7 anyway. So I think that sums them up. Yeah. All right.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Victoria. All right. I happen to know that this is, go ahead. Greg, are you on the call?
He was on.
There we go. Sorry,
All right,
it was muted.
Okay.
There he is.
One of the things I liked about this was that they really focused on how quick you were, and as I talked at the very beginning, that often goes a long way towards overcoming objections. So if you know you're talking to a prospect who's heard problems in previous IT time with IT customers, IT experience with responsiveness, this is a good one to show them. And the other thing is that I noticed here, they talked about their coupled together services, hardware, et cetera, et cetera. And that's a real problem with a lot of prospects is that silos of hardware that don't really communicate well with each other. So I think what I did is I went back and I really took what they said and put it here in a way that I think flows pretty nicely, especially with the responsiveness. You know, you could say, you know, if you're looking for a 3 here, they say you're responsive, you're professional, and what else do they say about you? Well, those are the 2 main ones. I guess you really only have 3. Responsive, professional, and positive. You know, and I again, this is really interesting. This is also the very first time I've ever seen humble in a prospect's testimonial. And I think it's a good. I think it's a good thing because again, it points to the fact that you spend time with the client trying to have them understand their IT, not like you're just the expert riding in on a big white horse and they're not involved in the conversation. Is that correct? Am I reading that right?
Yeah. Not sure how else to explain it. We just try and be humble. Yeah. Not arrogant.
Yeah. Well, especially if they've dealt with an arrogant IT company before, it's something that they're very welcome to.
Yeah, and there's quite a few of competitors who are like that, so we're able to capitalize on it.
Okay. All right. Now that was all that I captured. I did want to show you how to handle a testimonial where you get like 1, 2, 3, 5, 8 words. Okay, so here's a testimonial. Here's the 3 questions, and then here are the 3 answers that you may get back. And I think all of you have gotten these. You probably don't know what to do with them. So what I do with them is I take the beginning sentence here, what's been the single biggest benefit to you and your company, and I change it to say the single biggest benefit to our company since moving to XYZ is the speed with which they respond. And basically do the same thing on the 2nd and the 3rd sentence. Down here, if someone is on the fence, if you are on the fence about choosing XYZ as your IT firm, I would say just do it today. So you can use this as kind of a pattern for when you have other testimonials that you get 3, 4, 5, or 6 words for. All right, so I'm going to drop off of that. I'm going to bring up my lunchtime presentation here, and this will probably take 10 minutes if you can hang on that long. We had a lot of testimonials to go through. What I want to do is talk to you about what I call the sandwich question. And the sandwich question is really a client profile. It's a testimonial on steroids. You can do it with a phone call, and it gives you several things. It can give you a newsletter article of about 500 words. It can give you extended content for your testimonial book. It can give you the beginning of a case study, and it can give you material for a client of the month poster. Or the tech tip postcard. We have tech tip postcards where you can actually put one testimonial, one extended testimonial on, and mail that out. And that link is on your dashboard. So what are the pieces of the sandwich question? Well, the bottom layer is, what was it like before you started using, and I use SMB Networks. That's Peter Valeza, one of our Better Your Best finalists this year from Connecticut. He's a friend of mine. He's Italian, so I use Italian mozzarella sandwich here. And Debbie reminds me, I always tend to do this over lunch hour. But anyway, so that's the first question. What was it like? What did SMB Networks do for you, and what was the result? So it's a real simple formula. There is a fourth part. Some of you will get right away, and that is the Columbo question. And if you remember Columbo from a long time ago, he was the detective who would be in the room interrogating people. He would finish his questions and walk out of the room, but you could always count on him. About the time he got to the door frame, he would turn around and he would say, "Oh, just one more thing." And so your Columbo question was, how was our staff to work with? So the question summary: what was it like? What did we do for you? What was the result? And how was the staff to work with? So you set it up, you make a 6-month schedule of happy current clients. I discovered in the process we had a couple of clients I thought who were happy, who were not, which is a good thing to discover. You start with a simple email, just asking them, telling them what you're doing, you'd like to schedule them, and you sort of do the assumptive close. Do you think July would work for you? If they don't respond, you do a phone call follow-up, set the time and date, and send them a calendar invitation. Then you have some prep to do. I always use a speakerphone. My iPhone, I have an app from Rev that I record a call on. You always call in early, never late. You explain to them what's going on. You're going to record it. You'll send a finished copy for their approval. And then you tell them, of course, you may rephrase a quote or two. So after you've done with your 4 questions, you transmit the recording to Rev. Within less than 24 hours, the last time I did it about 3 weeks ago for something else, I got a 3-page document back in 24 hours, in 3 hours, sorry. And it's still $1 a minute. So you write the profile, but it's not really about them. Don't be surprised, but it's really about what you did for them and the result. But in the opening paragraph, 10-15% of the article, talk about them a little bit. 550 word total is what you're sort of looking for. And the profile is guided by what was it like before, what did we do, what was the result, and then comments on the employees. And what you want to do is you want to tell a story. And so it's a little bit like the essay that you're all preparing to write at the 90 days. What was it like before we started working with Robin? What did we do? What was the results, your metrics? And if you want to comment on Mark, that's fine. And so you tell a story. You wrap it up by getting approval, you proof it. You always use a picture. If you don't have a picture, you can use the logo, but never use the logo. I'm sorry, never use the picture. It doesn't work. You can use it in multiple ways. It's all done on the 3 simple questions that we talked about. So I'm going to stop my share now and find out if you have any questions.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is that detailed somewhere on the site, step by step?
The slide deck has been put on the deck. I'm sorry, on the resources is a PDF. So yes.
Under resources?
It's on the resources on the dashboard under your resources for the call.
I'll find it. I'm still learning how to navigate over there. Thank you.
All right. Yep. Okay, Mark, no questions. Did it again, no questions.
Doesn't seem it, does it? Okay. Thank you, Rich, for your hard work. Just to give everybody a reminder, some of you didn't get your stuff covered by Rich, mainly because you got it in too late. That's why we give you deadlines. We got a lot of work. You can see that Rich put a lot of work into to get that done. So please help us to help you by getting your homework in on time. The good news is we're giving you a little bit of extension for next week. The homework next week, you get a little bit longer to get this done because there's a little bit more involved, which is the USP and X reasons. So Debbie has already posted this to the queue. So you should see in the queue to week 4 homework, USP and X reasons. So watch the video that Jeff did on developing the USP, and there's some examples in there also of work Rich did with a Producers Club member on his USP. Also review the USP development resources. We did cover it. Jeff went over this on day 2 of the Rapid Workshop. So you've got those resources, you made some notes, you started working on it, so now's the time to finish. And then you're going to post the UXP and your X reasons. Now remember, your USP is your unique selling proposition. It's got to be unique to you. It's got to have meaningful specifics. It's got a strong appeal to your target market and defensible before they buy. Jeff will remind you that on the video. But here's what you want to focus on is those things in that 33 questions on the target market and all those things in the testimonials that you've just been told why your clients love you, okay? That's where your USP really comes from. What were their KPIs? What were those frustrations? If you remember, there was lots of things in there about, you know, that lots and lots of them had things about response time, about being honest and trustworthy, okay? You know, about some frustrations, about not speaking in technobabble and looking down at them. And then you've got these other things in the testimonials that we've seen. They love the response time is a good thing. Always take care of them, really care about them, part of the team. So that's what you want to weave into your USP, because that, when you, so the whole point of the USP is if you say that to a prospect, hey, we do this, we're the only people that do A, B, C, and D, they're going to go, oh, great, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I need somebody that does this. Okay, you've got their frustrations, you've got their KPIs. Now, the ideal USP would take care of a 1 or 2 frustrations and a KPI. Now, you can't always do that. So maybe you focus on the KPI stuff that you can increase, or you focus on removing you know, we're the ones with the solution to remove these frustrations or fears. And then I've got testimonials to back that up saying we do this really well and everybody loves us. So go back and pay careful attention. We had some great answers in those 33 questions. We had some great nuggets in there. Go back and pay careful attention to those things when crafting your USP and your X reasons. Don't try and turn your USP into a paragraph or a tagline. It's got to be manufactured. It's probably best initially coming out as bullet points. And we're more than happy with bullet points in your USP. And then don't forget the X reasons document, as Rich was showing you earlier, is more of a features benefit. And Rich came up with the term, it's a means test. So if you put the feature, you should be able to say, you don't have to type it, you say which means or that means, and explain the benefit to them. Okay, so if you're explaining benefits to that prospect, that they really want those benefits, then you've got a much greater head start and a USP and X reasons why they should buy from you over all the other competition. Okay, so put a lot of time and effort into this. We've given you the foundations, the information to work from. You've got your testimonials, you've got your USP, okay? Your USP is going to be 3 or 4 bullet points. Your X reasons is then going to extend from that and have maybe another 3 or 4 features and benefits in addition to that, okay? So it's got to be unique to you. So we're going to use some of that just testing with you guys, but Rich, Debbie, and I have been coaching hundreds of members. You know, we've got hundreds of Producers Club and Accelerators members have gone through all this that we speak to on a regular basis. We know their USPs, so we're going to have a pretty good idea if yours is unique or not, because we've heard quite a lot of them before. And so we're going to be applying that litmus test to that as well. So you've got till 5 p.m. Monday to get those in, and I am going to review them next week. Please no later than 5 p.m. Monday. I'm leaving it to the last minute as it is. I've only got that Monday evening to go through all these and make my notes to be able to give you feedback. So I am cutting it off at 5 p.m. If you don't get them in, unfortunately, I won't be able to give you the feedback that you want. So we've given you almost a week, a full 7 days. You know, you're a few hours short of a full 7 days, but plenty of time to go through this and get those, the USP and the X reasons in there. Once you've got this, once you've got your target market, you've got your testimonials, you've got your USP and your X reasons, now we're ready to start marketing. Okay, so this is the third and fourth pillar of your foundations for your marketing for your company and to grow your company. So please put the extra time in, get this done, and we'll give you some feedback, and you'll be great for marketing. Any questions before we go?
I was going to ask, is it Jim? Did you find the PowerPoint you were looking for? You did. Okay.
Rich, I had a question
I didn't find it. I'm sorry.
Say again.
I did not find it.
It's right in the middle of the page. It's called Client Profile under Resources.
Hang on.
Under the Rapid Resources.
Oh, where's Rapid Resources?
It's on your home page.
Are you on your Events tab?
I am now on the Events tab.
Go to RIW.
Yep.
And then there's a bunch of tabs, and you click on Resources.
I got it.
All
I
this
just
stuff
can't seem to
is
remember
there.
it's under Events. I'm sorry. Got it. Awesome.
Go,
And
Scott.
all the call recordings are there also. So today's call will be posted by tonight, since I have strong internet connection today.
So, Rich, I really enjoyed the client profile information. I wanted to follow up with what are all the applications of that? I think you touched on one is putting it on the back of the tech tip postcard.
Yeah, in the slideshow there were presentation there were about 5 different applications. One is it can be used in your testimonial book. Put together a testimonial book, an extended testimonial book. You can take snippets of it and use it on your website. You can put it on a special client profile sheet. You can put in your shock and awe. Some people who have customers come into their offices have what we like the Genius of the Month poster, you know, Client of the Month poster. Their story is there. There are really lots of uses of it. And the one thing I forgot to mention, thanks for reminding me, is the difference between a client profile and a case study is the case study will have metrics. And you need to ask the prospect in advance and tell them the metrics that if they agree to do a case study, you're going to have to provide them with the metrics that you're looking for. And the metrics you're looking for is, reduce cost, improve productivity, whatever. So a client profile is a client profile, but to make it a case study, you need to add a good set of metrics. And you really need the cooperation going into that of the prospect.
Awesome. And then I missed that slide. So like James, I'll go back and grab that as well. Perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. Anybody else? In that case, I wish you all a wonderful day and the rest of your week. Work on these things. Reach out to CoChat if you've got any questions or need help. Get them posted in so that we can do this.
Mark, can I get 5 minutes again, please?
Sorry, I've got another call
No
I've got
problem.
to jump onto. Sorry.
No problem. I'll send a message to Coach then.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.